These Christmas DIY decor definitely have the wow factor, and they're also dirt cheap. Let's get started. We are going to start here with my garage scrap wood area. I love this area. I keep all kinds of scrap wood because you never know when you're going to need it. And today's a prime example. I'm going to use some of these here in the corner as well as some other ones that I have because I'm looking for different width as well as like texture and style pieces of wood. Okay, so here's what we got so far. I am going to sit in my garage floor. It's filthy and dirty, but this is what we do. So I want to create a very rustic, kind of vintage style Christmas tree out of pieces of scrap wood. And when I mean pieces of scrap wood, I mean like they have holes everywhere. This one has a slit. They're just all just a mess. Like this one is, I don't know, maybe I spray painted on it. So this is what I'm going for. I want to create different planks. So I'm going to cut, obviously, this one right here so that we have one. And then we want another one that's going to be somewhat smaller than that one. You see where I'm going? Okay. I have the shape that I'm looking for. I love the different widths. I love the, just overall, all the different textures. Love that. Now, I'm going to take one of these leftover 1x2s in my scrap wood area. So I am going to take this and see if I need to trim it, which really it isn't that much. Maybe just a little bit. All right, so now that I have everything cut into the size that I need, it's time to just start either staining or just covering with fabric. These pieces of fabric I already had on hand. I've used for other projects and just left over. This ticking stripe black and like whitish color fabric I got at Walmart, and they were one of those that come like pre-cut in 2 yards, and there was $9.99. But again, I already used it to upholster a ottoman, and then this was the leftover piece. So I'm just going to hot glue and use my rotary cutter to trim it on the sides. Same thing with this piece of wood. I'm going to use this piece of scrap drop cloth and hot glue it in place and then cut the X's. And now that I have those two covered, I'm going to have the one that goes right above that drop cloth one. And I'm just going to put those to the side because we're going to stain that one in a little bit. The one above that one, we're going to use this tree skirt that I recently got at, where was it? Dollar General. It was $5. It was pretty cute, but I just don't use tree skirts. I have something else that I use. So this one I got specifically for the fabric. It's really nice. So I'm just going to cut a piece off of the fabric that has the ticking stripes and just enough to cover the wood. And again, I'm just going to hot glue it and cut the excess with the rotary cutter. So as you can see, this project is so easy to do. Really, you can use any fabric you have, any scrap piece of fabric, old t-shirts, old blankets, whatever you have on hand, you can use because it's literally supposed to look mixed matched. And I love that about this. All right, so here we are. I am just going to line them up just kind of how I'm seeing how they're going to look. And then I have two pieces left over. But first I'm going to stain this thinner piece. This is a very thin stain in the golden oak. And then I'm also going to stain the very top piece the same color. The leftover piece I'm going to cover with a leftover piece of fabric that I had from a tree skirt actually from last year. I've already used it several times this year, and I'm just going to do the same thing, hot glue and cut off the excess. And then it's time to just start putting everything together with the 1x2. So I'm going to start with the thicker one on top because I need to do that one from the back. I need to brad nail it with 2-inch brad nails, and the piece on top is a 2x4, I believe. Yes. So the 1.5-inch brad nails did not go through the top. I had to nail it from the back, but everything else is thin enough where I can do it from the top and it would work perfectly. I'm leaving about a 1/2 inch or so in between each blank, and I am using my Ryobi brad nailer. I love these. I love how easy it makes life. But if you don't have one, you can always use regular nails or just some wood glue and then put something heavy on them and leave them maybe overnight, and it should be sufficient. All right, now it's time to add some little embellishments here and there. I'm just going to grab some little bells and pine cones. I'm going to make a little bow with this ribbon from Dollar General and a little reindeer ornament. I'm just going to start hot gluing them in different places. All right, so now it's time to put a base on the tree because this is going to be on my porch and I want to make sure it's not going to go anywhere. This piece of I believe is a 1x6, held it from the back, but I needed something in the front and also to kind of cover that front portion. So I took a leftover piece of 2x4 that was already painted because it was from a leftover project, and I placed that one on top, and that did the work. This tree is so stinking cute. I love it. I love the different textures, all the little details, and I think it's going to look great on my porch this Christmas. For this next DIY, I'm going to use this piece of board that I already had done for I believe it was spring decor, and it never sold. And so I just thought I'm going to use the wood. It never sold, and I just didn't want to throw it away. And I just thought, let me just reuse it. So we're going to make a little Christmas card, kind of like a board, like a display board. And I'm going to start with, again, some of that Christmas tree skirt taking stripe fabric. And I'm going to start hot gluing it all around. I cut a piece that was about 2 inches on each side, bigger. And I'm going to hot glue and staple just 2 sides at first, because then we're going to stuff it with some pillow stuffing. I always have a pillow from Walmart, which are like $3 on hand, because I can make pillows with it. I have made all kinds of DIYs. So I always tell you guys, have one on hand because it's just good to have. So I'm going to start stuffing, and once I have the one end a little bit stuffed, then I'm just going to start hot gluing and stapling as I go. I want to let you know that I have an Etsy shop. I know I don't mention it a lot on my channel, but I've been placing recently some items, some decals. So if you want to check it out, I do have it linked down below in the description box. I am going to be adding even more Christmas decals that you can purchase, and they are inexpensive and I think they're really cute. So check it out. It is linked down below. As I hot glue and staple the last portion here, then I'm going to then cut off the excess fabric from all the edges, just as close as I can from just using scissors. It's no big deal. And then once I have that, I am going to make sure all the corners are neatly folded and stapled in place. And then it's time to add some jute twine to the board. I'm going to start with a staple here in the corner, a couple staples, and then I'm going to kind of make it more go into an angle, kind of like a V. Then I'm going to go and staple it on the other end, and then cross it to the other side like a V, staple it then. And then I'm going to go, when I'm done with one side, then I'm going to start doing the opposite way to kind of crisscross the jute twine. Now I'm going to take some of this burlap ribbon. I got this, I believe it was last year, but I also found it this year. So maybe it's from a batch from this year. It's from Dollar General, and I'm just going to hot glue it all around, covering all the staples and all the cut off fabric. And that way it just kind of cleans it up. I'm going to now add some greenery. These greenery picks I get on Amazon, and I do have them on my Amazon store. So if you check it out, I do have the link to my Amazon store link down below. I have a lot of greenery, florals, tools, paint that I love using. If you've never visited, check it out. It is linked down below. So I'm just going to hot glue 2 of them here on the upper left hand corner. And then I'm going to use some of these little golden berries from Dollar Tree. Just going to cut little picks from the bigger pick and then hot glue 1 to each side. I am then going to take a blessed wooden ornament from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to hot glue it right in the center because I think it's really appropriate to put blessed because, you know, Christmas cards come and you just feel blessed to have people around you that will send you some Christmas cards. I love this board. I don't think I'm going to get rid of it or sell it. I love that I used a board that I was already had done something with it and never sold, and instead of getting rid of it, I reused it, and I just love the way this turned out. For this next DIY, I'm going to take this leftover piece of 1x6, and I am going to place 2 scrap pieces of paint sticks, and I am going to brad nail them together, one on top of each other. After they are joined together, I am going to stain everything once again using the Varathane stain and the golden oak.
Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for you and me. The snow is falling down.
Once that's drying, I am going to take this blessed wooden word sign from Dollar General. It was $2. I recently got it, and I'm just going to dry brush some white paint on it just to make it brighter and stand out a little bit more. And then I am going to place it right on top of the wooden board. The reason why I placed the 2 paint sticks is because I want to make sure that it's kind of lifted up a little bit, because we are going to place some greenery right in front of it, and I want to make sure you can see the blessed. So I'm going to take some of these greenery picks that I also have on my Amazon store. I'm going to crisscross them there in the front and then staple them in place. Then I am going to take 2 more of those greenery picks. These are smaller ones, and again, also on my Amazon store, and I'm going to hot glue them 1 on each side. And then it's time to add a little bit of embellishments. I'm going to take this ticking stripe gray and white ribbon from Dollar General. I'm going to make a very simple bow. Then I'm going to take a thinner Christmassy ribbon, and I am going to make another simple bow and place it right on top, tie it in the middle with some jute twine, and hot glue it in the center.
Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me and you. I longed for this moment to have you for myself.
I wanted to add a little bit of glam to this one, so I'm going to add some more of those little golden, actually no, silver berries right on top, 1 on each side, hot gluing it underneath the bow. And that's it for this one. Oh, I did put a little bell in the center, but that's it. I love this one. I think this one would be perfect in a small little table, like a side table near a lamp. I think it would look beautiful anywhere, really. I just love that we use scrap wood and very inexpensive items.
Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me and you.
For this next DIY, I am going to take some more scrap wood. This is a 2x8, I believe, that I had in the garage. This is a piece of 2x4 that I had in the garage from a summer DIY. And then a piece of 2x4 that was just left over. I'm sanding them down and getting them smooth, and then we're going to start making little gift boxes with them. This first one I'm going to leave in the natural wood tone that it has. I'm going to take some red ribbon from Dollar Tree and just glue it going vertically. And I'm also going to secure it with some staples. I'm then going to take the same ribbon and I am going to make a very simple bow and hot glue it in the center.
'Cause all I want is to spend this day with you.
Don't forget that I also have an Instagram page where I post daily, multiple times a day, and a lot of times things behind the scenes, just my home, my studio, just everyday life. So I'd love to connect with you there. If you check it out, it is linked down below. For the next piece of wood, I am going to paint the sides using chalk paint by Rust-Oleum in the linen white, just because I don't want that blue showing. But then I am going to cover the rest of it using some of that same fabric we've been using throughout, the ticking stripe fabric that was a Christmas tree skirt. And then I'm going to cut a piece wide enough to make sure that it is going to cover all the ends, hot glue it, and staple it in place.
Hold you close. You know the stars are shining just for you. Let's take a walk and we can follow the moonlight till we reach a place we can stay. Maybe kiss a bit and dream away. And in a while we're gonna go inside and drink our chocolate by the fire. 'Cause all I want is to spend this day with you. Let me give you a Christmas moment we'll fill with love and joy.
I am then going to use some of this red rope that I already had on hand. I believe I got it at Dollar General last year, and I had some left over, and I'm just going to wrap it around the little gift and then make a simple bow in the front.
So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. Ooh, and in a while we're
For the next piece of wood, I'm going to take some of this buffalo check fabric that I recently got. I say recently, but it was more towards fall that I got at Hobby Lobby. Again, I'm just going to hot glue and staple it in place, covering this smaller board.
Let's go outside. The snow is falling down and every child is having so
I also
much
want to
fun.
remind you that I do have memberships available on my channel. If you want to take a look at that and get more information about how you can become a member and have special perks for my channel, check it out. It is also linked down below in the description
Watch a
box.
choir performing all the Christmas songs that we love. Yeah, all the Christmas songs that we love. And in a while we're gonna go.
I am now going to take some of this thin ribbon from Dollar General, and I'm just going to wrap it around kind of like towards the top, and then I'm going to make a very simple bow using the same ribbon and then hot glue it to the front.
Moment we'll fill with love and joy. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. I don't need any presents as long as I spend this day with you. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. I'm making plans for what we're gonna do. I feel so blessed that I can
I
be
decided to add a little bit of embellishments to each. So for the first one, I'm going to add a very cute little golden bell. For the second one, I'm going to add a little tiny Christmas tree from the Dollar Tree. And then from the top one, I'm just going to add a smaller little silver bell right underneath the bow. And that's it for this one. What an easy, another project that you can do using scrap wood and scrap fabric that you may have already on hand, and just using some inexpensive items. You have a very beautiful, custom, and actually good size
Let me give
decor.
you a Christmas moment we'll fill with love and joy. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. I don't need any presents as long as I spend this day with you.
For this next DIY, I am going to take one of these wreath forms from Target Dollar Spot. It was $3. I get these all the time. I think they're beautiful, and for $3, you can't go wrong. Now I'm going to take some more of that ticking stripe gray and white ribbon, and I'm just going to thread it right through the top, and then I'm going to hot glue it in place. What we're making here is a little wreath that you can place on dining room chairs. You've seen them, right? On magazines and maybe other videos where they have, every chair has like a little wreath in the back of it. You can also use these for your cabinets if you place wreaths on your cabinets that look really festive. I'm going to take some more of those little smaller greenery pigs from Amazon. I'm going to hot glue 3 of them to the top, right where the ribbon ends. And then we're going to add a little pine cone, some red berries that I already, let's see, I think, no, I didn't have, but I purchased recently a little tiny pick from Dollar Tree. So I'm just going to remove the berries from it and then hot glue it to the side of the pine cone. And then I'm going to go into my dining room. I'm going to take a piece of tape. This is the easiest way to attach it, as long as it attaches. And I'm just going to loop it around the chair, use the tape to hold it, and actually held pretty well. But you can always hot glue it as well. And you can do the same thing if you're placing it on a cabinet. And that's it. I think this is such a cute way to add like a little bit more decorative items to your dining room, kitchen, or whatever you want to use it for. But I love the simplicity, how beautiful it is. It's so easy and inexpensive. That's the beauty of it. I love it. This is it for today, my friend. Thank you so much for watching. If you are visiting for the first time, I hope you enjoy the video, and I hope you consider joining our YouTube family. And if you are returning, thank you so much for coming back. I am going to have a couple of videos here at the end for you. If you want to watch more Christmas inspiration, click on one of these 2 videos. I know you're going to love them. And as always, have a blessed day. Bye.